Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Life After Kids with Doctors Brooke and Lynn. I'm Dr. Brooke.
And I'm Dr. Lynn.
And we're so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, this week we're talking about the super vitamin, vitamin D.
Yes.
And we call it that because it really is so important, guys.
Oh my gosh, it's so important. And actually, a lot of people say now that it's more like a hormone even than it is a vitamin because it does so much in our body.
It does.
And here we are, at least if you're in the States, we are in February, mid-February, so we're getting more sunlight, but still not enough, and we're still not, especially if you're up real far north of the equator, you're not, even if you do spend time outside daily, the sun's not in the right part of the sky for you to get enough vitamin D from the sun, and so supplementing becomes important.
Yes.
And it's an important topic to discuss.
Yes, and relating to the sunlight, that is one of the easiest ways to get vitamin D because it is a little tougher to get from foods, unlike our B vitamins, our C, other non-fat soluble vitamins.
Yeah, that's a good place to start. So when it comes to vitamin D, if you're not getting out in the sun regularly and you're not somewhere closer to the equator where the sun is in the right spot of the part of the sky, right? So like for us in the summer, maybe in New England, but winter, forget it. You are not going to get enough vitamin D in your food. It's one of those things that you have to supplement for.
Yeah,
it just
I can just wrap your head around that, right?
Yeah.
And that's the reason we beat that drum, though, is because just from an obvious perspective, so you might be sitting there going, okay, I know I'm supposed to, but sometimes you need that why. You need to hear that one thing that really makes you go, okay, I need to take this every day. I need to go to my vitamin drawer and get this out and actually take it. That's me anyway. I don't know if you guys relate.
Yeah, and it's so important for women our age. It's important for all people, but specifically women our age.
Yes, because one of the most obvious benefits of vitamin D and normal vitamin D levels is it's going to allow our bones to continue to be strong.
Yeah.
When you're low in vitamin D, your bones can get brittle, and as we know, with aging, that's not a good thing, right?
Yes. No, and that's the really important point. And here's the thing too about vitamin D, before you take a step back and go, oh, not another supplement or the money and just all the things we have to take. Vitamin D is probably the least expensive supplement that you can take.
That's a good point.
It's very, very, very inexpensive. So there's really no reason to to not be taking it. It's just that important. And
it's a fairly easy test to get tested at whatever type of doctor or primary care provider that you see. If you run a blood test, you can usually get your vitamin D levels checked easily.
Yes, most practitioners will do it, especially now there's just so much research to back how important it is and how low we all are in it. But if your primary care is not willing to do it, if you're not working with, functional medicine doctors are typically always going to do it. You can actually get vitamin D tests online too.
Awesome.
And they're not that expensive. So you can purchase one, the kit will come to your house. You can test your own levels and it will come back to you. And when you do that test, some might say around 30 and up, but really if you want your vitamin D to be in the sweet spot, it should be somewhere between 50 and 80 nanograms per milliliter. So that's where you want to look. And if it's anywhere below that, then you definitely want to be supplementing even more. And so I'll take this conversation one step further. For supplementing, you want to take anywhere between 1,000 to 5,000 IUs a day, depending on where those levels fall. So if you're below 50, you're probably going to want to take 5,000 IUs a day. If you're somewhere in that range and you just want to maintain, now you're probably talking around 1,000.
And once again, speak to your, primary care or your healthcare practitioner.
Yes, this is not medical advice.
No, but that's in general, right? For most people.
Right.
And, here are some signs, because again, back to that, why do I need to take it? And you gave a good reason about that is because we're indoors so much. Our ancestors used to be outdoors. We used to be in the sunlight. The sun was, I guess, safer at the time. And people are avoiding the sunlight now in the northern hemisphere.
Sunscreens like crazy.
So we're blocking that vitamin D production. And some ways that if you're noticing some of these signs and symptoms, this might be the time to go and get a test and to begin supplementing. If you're having fatigue, if you're having some sleeping problems, if you're noticing some hear loss, if you are, I'm trying to think of the other one.
Yeah, well, definitely, if you're having trouble, you said sleep already. If you're having emotional issues, this can be, especially if you notice it more during the winter months, you can really struggle. I mean, that vitamin D, that can be such a simple fix for you.
Yes. Yeah. Muscle weakness, loss of appetite. Those are a couple of others.
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of those things that you just mentioned can be like typical hormonal shift type things this time of this age, right? With the fatigue, the not sleeping well, the being emotional. And if it is, in fact, your vitamin D levels, that's such an easy simple fix, ladies. So, like, definitely take this conversation seriously.
Yes, and low vitamin D levels have been linked to problems like heart disease and cancers. And so those are things, again, health starts on the inside. And if we have a way to avoid our premature aging and some, disease processes, why not take advantage of that when it's so simple and affordable?
Right. And the other thing here is with vitamin D, and we know this now, especially coming out of the pandemic, is that vitamin D, it really brought to light how important vitamin D is for our immune system.
Yes.
It just is. It's one of like, I have my whole family on vitamin D. I have my parents on vitamin D. I mean, it really is important for so many different things. So don't discount how important it is for your immune system as well. Did you already touch on bone density? You did.
A little bit, yeah. And, that goes along with vitamin D, helps to regulate our calcium levels and our phosphorus. So it's going to be the way that our body is able to keep calcium, without getting too technical, keep calcium in the bone. It helps there's a cascade of events that helps your bones to stay strong, along with exercise, of course.
Right.
But, it's important.
Yes, and so here's a key thing when it comes to and we're going to do another episode on bone density, so we don't have to get a ton into that. But what I want you to know when it comes to vitamin D is one of the most important things you can do when you take it is take it along with vitamin K2. And what I would recommend is just getting yourself a supplement where they are both together so you don't have to take two separate supplements. But what vitamin K2 is going to do is it's going to ensure that as you're getting the vitamin D, that calcium is not moving around your bloodstream with the D, but it's actually taking it and putting it back into the bone where it belongs. Awesome. So that's why it's so important. For us, women, especially at this age, it's even more important. Make sure you're taking vitamin D with the K2.
Yes, and if you do have sleeping problems, there's some evidence to support that vitamin D, if you take it too late in the night, it's going to interrupt that, because it does play a role in regulating our sleep.
Yeah, it's kind of like a circadian rhythm vitamin.
So if you take it too late in the day, your body thinks it's time to wake up, because again, when do we get the best sun? Between 11 and 1. So if you get your vitamin D at 7, your body's like, is it noon? And it may not be as easy to fall asleep.
Yeah. So I take my vitamin D in the morning with most of my supplements around my breakfast.
Same.
You can take vitamin D. Right now I'm taking it in capsule form. And the really lovely thing about this too is I'm taking like 5,000 IUs, and it's the teeniest, tiniest capsule that I have. So if you don't like taking capsules, if that's stopping you, it's very, very small. But I also really love, especially if you're pretty low in your vitamin D and you know that, you might want to take it a step beyond the capsules and do either a spray or a liquid, like a liposomal liquid that you drop under your tongue, because anytime you take that, it's getting directly into your bloodstream, as opposed to when you take a capsule, it's got to go through your digestive system and your body has to break it down.
Yeah.
So it's a couple more steps, and if you have any weak digestion at all, you might not be absorbing it well as you could.
That's a great point. And if you have daughters or daughter-in-laws or younger females, encourage them to get their levels tested as well, because it's just such an epidemic of low vitamin D in our country because of all those factors that we stated, that these are things that can set our children up to have healthier pregnancies, healthier lives as they age as well. So anything else you can think of? No, just go do it. Just like, if you're not taking it, why?
Yeah.
Really. It's the one vitamin that we will always bang the drum on and just encourage you guys to supplement with.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is one that you can't, because you can't. I mean, I'm all for getting your nutrients and your vitamins and your minerals from the food, right? Eat your medicine, basically.
And there are a few foods, so that is worth a mention. There are a few foods that are a little higher in vitamin D, like egg yolks and mushrooms. as well, but it's not going to be enough.
No, you would have to eat so many mushrooms to get and I like mushrooms, but it's a ton of mushrooms. So just save yourself the trouble.
Get in the
and
sun.
Do the vitamin D. Yeah.
And do some supplementation.
Cod too. Cod liver oil. And you could supplement that with that too, because it is a nice natural source of vitamin D. It's probably not going to be enough, but you're also getting vitamin A and your omega fats. So that's lovely
great.
supplement. So ladies, thank you so much for joining us for this conversation. We always love having you with us. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media outlets, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, www.lifeafterkids.com.
Have a great week, guys. Make it count.